City councilors play an important role in local government, making decisions that affect the lives of their constituents. As such, they are expected to adhere to a strict code of ethics and conduct. They are also expected to carry out duties in a fair, impartial, transparent, professional, and respectful manner, and to act with integrity and impartiality that will bear the closest scrutiny. By following these guidelines, councilors can ensure they are acting in the best interest of their community and upholding the values of public service. I was elected to represent and serve the public, and as such, my loyalty is not to bend a knee to lobbyist groups or to be beholden to any of my colleagues. I will not be pressured or bullied into being obedient to ideologies of dangerous, politically construed agendas that could only possibly result in public unrest. It is an abomination to the very principles of our laws and the integrity of good governance for any member in a public seat of authority or management to participate in such discriminatory ideologies. You have the right to advocate for whatever you choose, binding it remains within the perimeters of the laws that govern this country. If the state should be neutral with respect to freedom of conscience and religion, as with the Lord's Prayer ruling, should it not also be neutral with the sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression? In fact, Pickering Council is voting in favor of removing our invocation, our prayer that we lead with every council meeting, and replacing it with a moment of reflection. Why? Because of a Supreme Court of Canada ruling in 2015. I will read you an excerpt from this decision. The state's duty of religious neutrality results from an evolving interpretation of freedom and conscience and religion. The evolution of Canadian society has given rise to a concept of which neutrality, according to which the state must not interfere in religion and beliefs. The state must instead remain neutral in this regard, which means that it must neither favor nor hinder any particular belief, and the same holds true for any non-belief. If the council is going to adhere to this Supreme Court ruling as a justification to remove our prayer, then we must also adhere to this ruling and not fly non-governmental flags linked to code-protected grounds on public buildings. This kind of inconsistency only further erodes public confidence and the division of its people. Picking and choosing when to apply this ruling is hypocritical behavior based on nothing more than virtuous signaling, political posturing, and deceiving you, the public. Some colleagues and special interest groups may argue this is a human rights issue, but it does not pass the four tests. In not flying any flags linked to code-protected grounds, the recipient is receiving the same services as all the other service recipients, and while their feelings may be alleged, they are not associated with differential treatment. So the absence of a preferential, favorable action is not unequal treatment, and there is no differential treatment in the absence of an action. There has been absolutely no regard. There's been no compassion for the devastation to the lives of those who have been suffering from the incompetence of political leaders who clearly cannot define their duties, obligations, principles, or the law. Abusing their power by prevarication invokes division and hatred within the communities. Having you believe in any interpretation of this being hate against any group has clearly been misdirected. Forcing communities and children to celebrate different ideologies that may go against their faith, their moral being, their values is wrong, and it should be illegal, as true equality does not come with privilege or special treatment over another, and I refuse to participate in the creation of this hierarchy. As an elected official, I will always ensure to preserve a neutral public space that is free of discrimination and in which true freedom to believe or not to believe is enjoyed by everyone equally, given that everyone is valued equally, without favor and in respect to the law. I promise I will stand my ground for the people I represent and the moral integrity of my position. I'm Lisa Robinson, your Pickering City Councilor.